Hello farmers, I trust we are all good. In today's video, we're going to be looking at something very interesting, and that's onion. Onion is a crop that is widely farmed here in Africa, and precisely in Zambia. Why? Because it goes well with our staple food, and that is cornmeal or pap, or as you call it in Zimbabwe, Saza, or as you'd call it in Zambia, Nsima or Nshima, also in Malawi. So onion goes well with it, with tomato, and something called a Zambian soup comes up in pretty much every relish, if you'd want to put it that way. And so it's a very critical crop. And so today the question that I'm going to be dealing with is the right spacing for onion. Well, let us get in the video. So you have decided to do onion, and you have been asking yourself, what is the best or the right spacing for onion? Well, we're going to look at it twofold, okay? First of all, you need to understand your market. Why do I say that? Because some markets would want smaller or average-sized bulbs, and some markets, of course, would want larger bulbs. And just to give you a perspective, open markets like local markets where home owners would go to get their onion for home consumption, they would relatively want to get a smaller version of the bulb, okay? And something that when they cut and they pretty much use up and they don't store, so it's a cut and use kind of situation. But also in lodges, um, in hotels, you know, that market itself, obviously because they are cooking in bulk, they would need larger bulbs. Okay, so that once they cut on something, it will be able to cover for a particular meal. So those are the dynamics. So which one is your market? So how do we achieve bigger or smaller? If we have identified our market, let us start with the smaller one, okay? The average sized onion, like this one right here, okay? Well, that is very easy. It all has to do with the spacing. Onion has a tendency to continue, growing in bulk if they've got enough space around them. So now the issue of spacing comes in. So the best recommended spacing will of course be in-row spacing. You do of course 5 to 7 centimeters. You can even extend to 8 centimeters. And then interrow spacing, you will do 10 or 11 centimeters. With those spacings, you should be able to come up with a relative and average bulb of onion, which of course you're going to be able to meet your market quite dearly. So that answered. Likewise, if you are going to need larger bulbs, of course you can just increase the spacing and you should be good. I hope that pretty much gives you an idea of how you should go about it when it comes to spacing. The other question that came through is, of course, what should a farmer be looking out for in terms of insect pests? Well, the one that can prove to be quite notorious in onion is of course thrip or thrips. Now thrips are these tiny little flying insects. You would find when they get in your field, they would be just right in the middle of the leaves there. So the best way to go about that is when your onion is in the field, you have a constant check. We call it scouting. So every morning you're going in your field, you are scouting. You are covering a good coverage, whether it is 1 hectare, 1 hectare, whether it is 1 lima, whether it is 1 acre. Create time for scouting. Teach your workers on how to scout, or have a field officer come through, or somebody more conversant in that regard. So how we scout is basically checking right in the middle of the leaves. You should see them flying, or they'll be pretty much right in there. And if you have any, so check pretty much. Again, I emphasize, these guys can cause tremendous damage, and you can lose your crop. And once they get in, it takes a few days for them to collapse a plant. Okay, so you should be on the watch out. But then what are some of the solutions? You can go with something that is rather more broad spectrum, something like this product here called Thunder. Okay, so there's a product, this is a Bayer product called Thunder. Now, I am fond of this one because um, it has it has two actives. Okay, so it has imidacloprid. It also has beta-sulfothrin. Okay, so this one will be able to deal with the thrips, and even better at an early stage. As you're doing your scouting, you see here and there, you go in with this one. That should be good. I think 10 mils in your 16-liter knapsack sprayer, and then you apply. And the beauty about it, it has what we call adjuvants. So adjuvant should be inbuilt sticker, buffer, and wetter. Okay, so if you are doing it in rainy season, the sticker will be able to at least have the chemicals or the actives stick to the leaves or to the plant itself. Um, Even if it rains after an hour or so, I think you should be okay. So that would be one of the solutions. There are a lot on the market, but but this one right here is one that I would fondly recommend, and partly because I have used it. We have used it on many fields, and it has done wonders. You can find this one if you're in Zambia. You can find this one in Omnia outlets, I think, around the country. You can also find this one at Agrisafe Choma. You can also find this one at IBAN in Choma. But also, you can find this one in outlets like Farmers Ban, pretty much. Um, it's spread across the country, really. So you just need to take note of the name. It's called Thunder. And the good practice, of course, would be for you to alternate actives, and that would be to alternate chemicals. So what you can do is, once you get this one, you can also get an alternative. When you walk in your agro outlet, you can pretty much inquire, and you can get an option. Okay, and so having two or three, helps to break what we call resistance, because sometimes if you're just applying one chemical, you have resistant building up, and you will not benefit from the efficacy of that particular chemical. So a good practice, if you go in twice with one product or one chemical, the third, of course, you should use another active. So that's pretty much it on thrip solution or options. And the other question is, can a farmer supplement on fertilizer by using boosters? of or foliar fertilizers? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And there are a lot of options there. You've got powdered fertilizers, or foliar fertilizers, that is. But uh, notice this, and I'm using the word to supplement, where the foliar fertilizers will not substitute staple feds. Okay, your compound D or your WVC, your compound WVC, or whatever compound that you are using, or the top dressing that you're going to be using. That one that you put in your soil. So that should be clear. So, but the boosters come in handy because they tend to bypass the roots, and once you apply, pretty much spray them on the crop. Okay, so once you spray them on the crop, they'll be taken up through the leaves, and once they are taken up through the leaves, it's a quicker assimilation. It's a very quick assimilation, and the crop will start enjoying the nutrients almost instantly. So that is clear. So one that I would also recommend is a product called Introgel. So Introgel comes in a range. So that will be Introgel Start. You have Introgel Shoot. You also have Introgel Routine, which is a 22-22 NPK uniform-based FET. That NPK stands for nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. The other one, of course, is Introgel Set. An Introgel Set, of course, is magnesium and calcium based with a good percentage of nitrogen, you know, just to aid a bit. But the main one, of course, would be the calcium and magnesium. And we also have Introgel Fruit, this one here. So the fruit, you will see the NPK, it has high potash, it has high potassium, because with potassium, of course, potassium helps. Like for example, in onion, when your crop starts bulbing, you want to go with something that has high potash to help push the bulbing phase. But also there's Introgel Finisher. Those are the primary ones that you're going to find in outlets in Lusaka, maybe livestock services. You can find them. You can also find them at AgriSave, quite a number of stores. You can find them at Lusaka Agrovet, in Lusaka there. If you're in Zambia, of course, if you're in Lusaka. So you can also find them at Precision Farming, because Precision Farming is the distributor of this product right here. Should you not find them anywhere else, you can find them at Precision. But to be more categorical in onion, you are well and good to go with Introgel Start. And then at a later stage, you want to go in with Introgel Routine, the one that I said as a 22-22 at a vegetative stage. It will offer some good potassium as well, and also some nitrogen, because you may wish also to buff up at that stage the leaves, for the good tapping of sunlight. It also has phosphorus to continue, promoting root growth and establishing the crop, even at that vegetative state. And then later on, when your crop is about to start bulbing, you can go in with this guy right here to just add on some potash. So that is on the foliar fertilization. Yeah. And of course, in the area of diseases, there was another question also that came through. And I think in the area of diseases and pests, insect pests, I'm really going to do an in-depth video. But to just give you a perspective, diseases that are quite common in onion will, of course, be down mildew, pink rot, white rot, Fusarium, basal rot, pepper blotch, to mention but a few. But these are the common ones, and they can pretty much impact the overall yield if not attended to. Of course, some options that you can find on the market. You can use copper hydroxide branded Royal Blue. Royal Blue, of course, you can pretty much find it in many outlets, but if you can't find it in any outlets, you can go to Precision Farming and get your desired pack size there. You can use mancozeb, and you can use metalaxyl, you can use tebuconazole, you can use products like Folicar, a Bayer product. You can use a product like Antraco, Nativo, and these you can all find them at Precision Farming or in the outlets, Normia outlets, um, are dotted around the country. And that is just to mention but a few, depending on what is prevailing in your field. So scouting is very important again. I need to emphasize this because then that gives you an idea of what you need to get. And so what I mentioned, you have got preventatives, you have got curatives. So whatever is prevailing in the field will pretty much paint a picture as to what you should be using, or what you should use. But you can pretty much get what I like to call backbone products, like a copper hydroxide. Of course, it's a must, at least you can put it in your spray program. And so that one you can buy in advance. You can buy products like Antraco, it's basically propionate, but with added zinc. That is a plus. Um, it's quite strong when it comes to preventing a number of diseases, actually. Well, for more questions where onion production is concerned, well, you can put in your comment section, and should I be in a position to answer that, then I should be able to answer it. If not, then I can engage some of the experts to put our heads together and pretty much have a solution for you. But for now, it's goodbye and enjoy your farming. Cheers.